Yippee-Ki-Yay, mother.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to Yippee-Ki-Yay Classic. We got a good one from I think it's 1988, but I could be wrong. Debbie's going to be bringing a film. She won the spin last week. We'll talk about her film in a second, but before we do that, let's just do a little round robin of what we watched this week. Let's start with Wojo and Brad.
I love true crime. Brad hates true crime. I have been watching so much true crime when he's working. So I watched The Staircase, which was really good on Netflix. And now I'm watching Sons of Sam, which
what's Sons of Sam?
Oh, it's on Netflix. It's a short series. Well, and it's very strange. I don't understand why they did this documentary after the reporter that it's basically a lot about. He became obsessed with the Son of Sam murders.
Okay.
And basically found all this information. I'm just on episode 3, where David Berkowitz didn't act alone. Like there were and they have all these interviews, all this evidence, this stuff. It just makes you think. It's really interesting.
Are you saying they found the dog? They gave him orders?
No, he killed the dog.
Oh man, we'll never get the true story now.
Well, is that what you think of the series once it's done? I read the book when it first came out, and even then, I found it really compelling, but I got kind of skeptical at the end. So it'll be interesting.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you next week if I'm really ticked off. And
I tell you what, the depiction of him in Mindhunter, that Mindhunter season 2 was really good when they interview him in the thing.
Yeah, we watched Mindhunter.
That was a really good
and then they canceled it.
Well, it may be
canceled. They're negotiating third season right now.
Oh, really?
Oh.
It's just been a few years now. So
Yeah, it has. Well,
but it was
Finch
probably
has
right
been busy.
before COVID.
Right? We watched Manifest this week, and we watched the 2-hour season finale, and it ended on this note where you go, "Oh my God!" And then I found out yesterday they canceled it. There's a good chance Netflix might pick it up because they've been running it. And evidently it was in like the top 10 since
it was number 1
yesterday.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
People are watching it.
Yeah, number
I haven't
1.
seen it yet.
Yep.
Is that it, Brad?
We were afraid it was going to be another Lost. And Lost, we liked until the last episode. And then we both got so mad.
No, it was going downhill.
Well, okay. Yeah, it was.
We just expected more to happen.
We expected more.
It went down the hatch, you could say.
Yeah.
Is that a Lost reference?
Yes.
Way down the hatch.
John was very disappointed. I heard her story about having a partner.
You know why? Not good. Because reporters asked them in the first season.
They lied.
Are they exactly? Yeah. They're in purgatory, aren't they? In purgatory? Oh no! Wait till you see. And then they get to the end, and I think they just didn't know how to wrap it up. You know,
no, there's think. That's what happened. They had no idea what the ending would be when they
started.
Yeah.
I think they probably thought they'd get canceled well before that.
You're probably right.
They probably should have.
I mean,
look, that show only existed because Lloyd Braun was running ABC at the time, and Survivor was a huge hit on CBS. And he told his development people, "Give me a show in the jungle. Like I want a big show." So
wait, Lloyd Braun is his real name?
I think so. Yeah,
because that's the guy. That's the character from Seinfeld. Lloyd Braun.
I think it's Lloyd Braun. I think it's Lloyd Braun. Anyway, he was the guy who was running ABC.
Serenity Now. That was his thing. Serenity Now.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why J.J. Abrams got hired to make a show in the jungle that was like Survivor, but it was written.
But different.
The first season was great.
And we watched Porky's because Brad had never seen it.
That was one I was going to bring.
Lassie. Why do they call her Lassie?
Really
take her to the gym.
I might have liked it back then.
I said to him, I can't believe I watched this movie dozens of times.
When's the last time you watched it, John? If you
I
watched
don't care. When the coaches are laughing, that is the funniest scene in that movie. I die every time I see it. When she's explaining in the shower. Can we call it a tally
watching these late 70s, early 80s movies, how racist they are, how awful they are. I mean, they're just, it was.
Did you guys ever see Soul Man?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
C. Thomas Howell.
C. Thomas Howell. Yeah, he's such a good actor.
That's the 80s. That's the whole. Wow, this movie we're going to do tonight is a time capsule, I think. But anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
John.
Anyway, that's ours.
So feel free to ask me about the misogyny in the movie we're going to discuss this evening, because you
Well,
usually
we'll
let me
just freely
talk about that.
talk about it, John.
For our other show, we did a review of Wrath of Man with Jason Statham.
What's that show?
Dream Quest. It was pretty bad, actually, and I'm a big Jason Statham fan. So I watched a movie that was actually made in 2013, but it's been running on Netflix, called Homefront, with him in it.
That's fun.
It's excellent, and James Franco's the bad guy, and Winona Ryder plays really out of character for her. And it was compared to Wrath of Man. Wrath of Man was here. This movie was here, and he was really good in it. He was likable. He was funny. He was dangerous when he needed to be. If you haven't seen it and you like him, good movie, good characters in the movie, set in Louisiana. It's really good. I really enjoyed it.
Was it a theatrical release, or was it?
It was, but I don't think it did anything.
It's Homefront.
Yeah, one word, Homefront.
And I know that on Netflix, it's getting a lot of hits. That's the only reason why I watched it. They've been talking about it a lot. And after that last one I watched with him in, and I said, I didn't know it was 2013. I thought it was much more recent than that. And then when I looked it up and saw it was 2013, I was like, wow, that was a while ago. But it was good. I really enjoyed it.
But it's an action movie like Raw Deal or Commando or one of those 80s action movies. It's really violent. It's really fun.
Yeah.
But
and it's
still
way
really
more
good.
fun than Wrath of Man.
Really good.
But still go to StreamQuest and watch our review of Wrath of Man.
Of course, Wrath of
We
Man is
watch,
worth
so you
discussing,
don't
just
have
not
to.
watching.
That's right.
That's right.
Good one. All right, Sean and
watch
Debbie.
it so you don't have to.
Well,
Dirty
John. We watched the entire show in one day.
Which Dirty John? Season 1 or 2?
Season 1.
With Eric Bana?
No, there is a second season.
Yeah.
Eric Bana.
Eric Bana.
Eric
Look
Bana.
at Drew's
Bobby is another Seinfeld.
I get every name wrong.
The Australian
I
guy.
saw the same one. Okay, it's great. Anyway.
Fabulous.
It's
Now,
fabulous.
was Dirty John based on the podcast?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a true story.
Yeah.
Kind of the boyfriend from hell, unless you were dating Ted Bundy. Maybe he'd be worse.
Slightly.
You think?
Yeah. No, that's a good one. That's a good one. And
How
the
many
second
episodes
season,
was it that you watched in a day? How many
8
episodes?
8 episodes.
Oh, that's not
Yeah,
bad.
we watched all 8 of the episodes.
The second season's it's a Betty Broderick season.
Christian
Slater
right?
and Amanda Peet.
Yeah.
Christian Slater plays a guy who's like abusing a woman.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, he's not abused. He's mentally abusing. He didn't physically
It's
abuse.
still
anybody.
abuse.
Yeah. No, it's total.
No,
You
but
know,
this was
She shot him.
well. Here's
Spoiler alert. Sorry.
Still reasonable.
Spoiler!
Not quite, but
it was like
Don't have to watch
anyway, we're
that
talking.
now, Brad.
Sean and
There's
Debbie
no
are talking about
physical
season
abuse
1.
until he shot
it was like
No, she shot
11:45,
him.
and I thought there were 10 episodes.
Yeah.
So when it's like we got to go to bed, but like we were not going to stop until we finished it. And unfortunately, there were like only 8. And we also watched Kaminsky Method. I don't know if anyone's seen it yet.
Well, that's
How is that with
good?
Michael Douglas?
Who is it?
Fabulous.
Really?
Yeah, it's really good.
I'll have to watch that.
The thing is,
Michael
it's not
Douglas,
like a streaming
fabulous.
series because it's done by Chuck Lorre, it's a sitcom. It's a one-camera sitcom, essentially, with A-class actors in it. And the beginning of it is better because after a while, for those who haven't seen it, it will suddenly jump. It will say 1 year later. It's like, wait a minute, I wanted to see that year. And then it'll have like 2 episodes and it'll say 10 months later. So it does it kills some characters that I thought gave the show a lot of life and all, but it was really well done. I think it really got the milieu of actors and acting schools really well. And it was funny. And it had Alan Arkin in it. He's great as
I love him.
really powerful agent, and Michael Douglas as Sandy Kaminsky, and a failed actor who has like a successful acting school. And Arkin is like his best friend and his agent who cuts him no slack whatsoever. It's it was a great show. We watched all of those too.
Yeah. Well, back the Dirty John. What's amazing about that is when you research the stuff, the podcast and the information, they're getting a lot of it right.
Yeah.
And even the actors they're hiring to portray these people are similar to the people who are, the Betty Broderick, a little less. Like Amanda Peet, was a softened version of the woman who acted Betty Broderick, where Meredith Baxter Burney played her in the 90s, and she was much more close to the actual person. Anyway, great series, and they're about to do a number 3, and they're working on that. They're trying to figure out what that's going to be, which is cool. So good one, Drew.
Well, I want to say, since we're actually recording this week, and you never know, next week something could happen. We have to wait another week. Next week will be my 1-year anniversary on this show with you guys.
You know what? I think, given what you just said, we're going to skip a week and do that.
This is my 41st episode to record of Yippee Tippy, and
we've had that many.
It's been a lot of fun. So I want to thank you guys for inviting me to show up for an episode with Alan Arkin, Little Miss Sunshine, and then saying like, all right, he can stay. So thank you.
Well, you and John, both of you have been a good addition. Sometimes.
Thank you.
But you've really connected with Drew, Ralph. I mean, really. I mean,
he couldn't have a romance with you, because then it would be incest.
It would be a little weird.
Yeah, brother different romance, kind of podcast.
But Drew's opened up a whole lot of doors in Ralph's life, and I really like that.
Who's got a phone ringing?
That's my bat phone. Commissioner?
It's tubing. It's got to be tubing.
I can't talk. I'll have to call you back.
Well, Drew, I didn't realize that's amazing that it's been a year, right? So because we started this kind of in March, I guess, when the pandemic first started, and you came on.
I have to update the IMDb page.
Yep, June 23rd.
All right, Dad.
All right, is that all
my
you
brother?
want to say?
My brother was at the doctor.
No, I want to talk about what I watched.
Vertigo attack.
Okay.
I wanted to say something.
First time he's ever had it, so he was.
Vertigo is the worst. It's a shitty movie, and
my mother has it really bad, and this was the first time he's ever had an attack of it.
Who's that? Who got
Steve.
it?
Steve was in rough shape today.
Oh, that's tough.
So he was calling me, but I blew him off. I blew him off for the show.
Did Drew just say Vertigo was a shitty movie?
Yeah, he did.
Oh my God, it's so boring.
But watch Movie Strange, you'll understand why.
So boring. It doesn't have even one news anchor touching himself. So like to a movie like that. So this week, I took
Zoom yet.
This week's podcast is dedicated to Jeffrey Tubin, everybody. That's why we keep bringing it up.
He's back.
Kindred spirit.
He's back.
He's back.
Or is he
he's a legal analyst, so he's just pounding that gavel.
That's right.
He was pounding the pavement for a while.
He was pounding something.
All right.
He's been found not guilty. So I took the recommendation of a lot of people, including John, and I watched Invincible, the superhero cartoon. And I got to tell you, I'm really bored of superhero stuff in general. And then when somebody says, no, this one is good, you got to watch this one. That happened with The Boys, and I really enjoyed it. And so I said, all right, I'll trust John and other people. And I would call it interminable instead of Invincible. I was so incredibly bored. And then right at the end, it's super gross, but it was also still boring. And I felt like, I think in this show, Omni-Man's character lied about this, and he's really doing that. And I didn't even care enough to find out if I had figured it out. I was just really bored. But I tried.
Wow. Oh,
I tried. And then I watched the first episode of Loki, which it was okay. We'll see what happens. Don't worry, I'm not spoiling anything.
Oh, no spoilers. I gotta wait till they all drop.
What I did watch. What
is Loki the angel?
Loki
He's the god of mischief.
The Norse god who's a Marvel character.
I've been reading a little about that, and I'm sort of intrigued because they're going to go back in time and do stuff, and he's going to show up in places like. And this isn't in the show, but he was supposed to be running Studio 54 at some point, and
yeah,
there's a whole plot.
I'm not sure what they're going to do with it, and the whole thing is this agency that regulates time. I've never heard of it. I guess it's been in the comics since the 80s, the Time Variance Authority, and I guess he'll partner up with Owen Wilson, and they can do really whatever they want, and we'll see what happens. It should be interesting. It's by one of the guys from Rick and Morty and some other good stuff. But what I watched this week that was really good. I have a soft spot for 80s. That's when I grew up. Spielberg, Amblin Entertainment, that kind of stuff. And Sweet Tooth on Netflix was just wonderful. It was just really wonderful. And it's another show about a fucking plague.
Yeah.
So not original. But they did start it. It's based on a comic book that I had actually never heard of. And unlike Lost, as far as I know, the comic book began, had a middle, and then ended. So I don't know where they'll go with the show, but there is a whole story arc. And basically, there's a plague, and as people start to die, new babies that are born are half animal, half human. And Will Forte takes his son, who's a half deer boy, to hide in the woods, hopefully forever. But it's a fairy tale, so that won't last forever. And it's really good storytelling. It's once Netflix stopped making everything 13 episodes, it's like this is 8 episodes. Some of them are different lengths. They're long enough to tell the story. It's not perfect, but it's really good. It's got a wonderful cast. This little kid is amazing. And it really felt like Stranger Things felt, that sort of 80s vibe, except Stranger Things, and this isn't a criticism, as I like that. Stranger Things was like, we're making a TV show that'll take you back to that era of entertainment. This just has that vibe, and it's really good. So Sweet Tooth, 8 episodes. I don't know if it's officially been renewed, but it's got almost as many viewers as Manifest in the past week or so. So I think there's a good chance that it'll come back, and I recommend it.
Almost as many people as The Devil's Honey.
Well, we'll never know.
We'll never know. That got taken away. Will Forte was talking about that. Forte.
MacGruber.
Also, I also found out, and I want to see it based on what Will was saying, and I saw the trailer for it. I actually watched a trailer for that last night, Sweet Tooth, and I want to watch it. He's also doing MacGruber on the Peacock Network, the series. So
they're doing a series.
Wait.
Mickey Rourke's going to be the bad guy.
I can't wait. It's just going to be.
That's because Val Kilmer is really too frightening now.
Val Kilmer is great in that movie.
Yeah, he's very good, but he's not well.
All right. Well, as always, I don't have a lot of time because we took so much time with everybody, but that's okay. I'm into Hulu now. All of a sudden, I've been watching a lot of docs on Hulu. I mentioned this on StreamQuest last week. We're in the Matrix, or there's a glitch in the Matrix. Good documentary, but the one I want to talk about tonight is one called The Housewife and the Hustler. Now, are you guys familiar with the movie Erin Brockovich?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the boss of Erin Brockovich, I forget who the actor.
Albert Finney.
Albert Finney. Turns out that guy was a famous lawyer in L.A. Like L.A. law is basically Christopher Darden, who was on the OJ trial, was saying, when you think of L.A. law, this is this guy. Turns out he ends up marrying this young Chiquita who ends up on the Housewives of L.A.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Oh,
And it turns out this guy's been
this.
scamming everybody.
The lawyer's been scamming everybody?
Everybody. Like
big story.
He's been taking all their money. Any settlement he gets, he's been pocketing and building a lavish life, and she's been building up a singing career and all this. And you think about the end of that movie where the guy hands Erin Brockovich a $2 million check, and oh my God, my boss is so nice. And it turns out this guy's a total scamming asshole.
Oh, wow.
And it's a pretty interesting documentary about this young woman who meets this guy. So you should check it out. It's pretty cool. Hulu's doing I've been watching a lot of movies on Hulu too.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot of
They've got
cool
good
stuff.
content.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's amazing.
I've been watching The Handmaid's Tale. Oh God, it's so good. I mean, I will tell you, if Bradley Whitford does not win the Emmy this year for best support, he is phenomenal.
Evan Peters is going to win it for Mayor of Easttown.
Mayor of Easttown is going to win everything.
Evan Peters is going to win.
He was awesome. It's not even going to be close. It's unbelievable how that. And I watched that the last night, and HBO Max shut down for 7-8 hours.
HBO Max is like the worst.
Hey,
ever.
Whatever. Maybe.
Well, they might be sponsoring us, so let's be careful.
Easy on.
Oh yeah, HBO Max is going to sponsor.
No,
us.
I got an email. I sent an email to him. I'm waiting to hear back.
Yep. All right, well, that's it. That's
HBO
all.
Max
love that place.
It's the best app ever.
We just took up the whole.
We've been watching Friends. You can make that face all you want. I don't care. You let Drew talk as long as he wants, so you can bite it, buddy. So.
I don't know.
We've been watching Friends.
It.
Listen to this. We've been watching Friends on HBO Max, and if you watch a few episodes in a row, even though we never have it on Spanish language, they will come on. The next episode comes on. It's like, ¿Dónde está Ross y Chandler?
Like the first 3 or 4 lines of dialogue are in Spanish, and then it just goes right back to.
I think
they're still working on some. Listen, HBO was in motels 45 years ago. Come on, give them a break. They've been around for a long time.
Don't worry. When we take over those guys at Discovery, which we're doing, we're going to fix all that crap.
Fix it. You should do
go,
that.
Sean.
All right, let's get to the. Debbie, you now have.
Zaslav.
Yes, we have to get Debbie to talk about her movie. Come on.
Come on.
We're all talking too much.
Debbie's all fixed up. She's got a cool hairdo. Let's go.
You now have 20 minutes to talk about your film. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. All right, Working Girl. Are you going to do the trailer?
Yeah, like I
this
said,
is how this began.
everyone's a director. Yes, hang on. I'll get it. Oh, my goodness gracious.
There isn't any room at the top for local girls like us.
I'm not giving up.
In the land of opportunity,
They're not going to give you no shot test. They're going to shoot you.
where dreams are won and lost,
Spray me down?
Sorry?
Well, I can't very well walk around my own party clinging.
someone's about to get what she deserves.
I know I'm asking an awful lot, Tess, but I don't know what else to do. I need you to take over.
Do me a favor, be me. Be my secretary.
You do, sir?
Thank you, Cynthia.
Hold all calls, Miss McGill?
Yes, Cynthia, thank you.
Can I get you anything, Mr. Trainer? Coffee, tea, me?
Isn't she right? That'll be all, Cynthia.
But how you look.
I have a head for business and a bod for sin. Is there anything wrong with that?
20th Century Fox presents Harrison Ford.
Last night was special.
It wasn't so special. I had to carry you up 3 flights of stairs.
Sigourney Weaver.
This woman is my secretary.
She's not.
Oh, no? Ask her.
Melanie Griffith.
How about you? I'm flat broke. I'm crazy about a man that I will probably never see again. Well, besides that.
In a new film directed by Mike Nichols.
I'm telling you, she's your man.
Working Girl.
You know, maybe I just don't like you.
Me?
So we
Wow,
just saw
that
the
was
trailer.
a great trailer.
Wow, talk about a trip back to the 80s.
Man,
Wow.
yeah. How young was Alec? How young was Alec Baldwin?
Oh my God, that was one of his
Oh my
first
God, he was like a zygote.
things. All right, Deb, good call on this one. I want to hear why you picked it.
I just love, and my favorite scene in any movie, and really, it's this scene, and there's another scene that I really think is a sexiest scene, is when Melanie Griffith is in the bar, you know, and she's bending, she's leaning, she drops her purse, and it's POV with
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know POV, it's point of view. So we can learn something from podcasts, but Harrison Ford is just, you know, in the background, and you see her, and it pans down to her lifting up her dress to get her purse, her bag. And it is like so full of energy and sexuality. It just really, it's so subtle, but it's just very powerful.
That was also his introduction shot too. That's when you first saw his face.
Yeah, and there's nothing more appealing than a man who really appreciates a woman. There's nothing more appealing when a man looks at you like that.
Isn't that
especially when she looks at him at the bar and says,
"That's how I
have a mind for business
that
and a bod for sin.
I got a head for business,
a head for
and
business,
a bod for sin."
Yeah, women don't have minds. You know that, Ralph.
Come
It's
on.
1988 business.
This is
Well, to me,
she was very. This is Melanie. Okay,
it's very
skipped a
antiquated.
bunch of stuff, right? Directed by Mike Nichols.
Basically, you know, and I think that this movie is just depicts the relationship between a man and a woman. Now, Alec Baldwin was with her friend, sleeping with her, and
He was dating Melanie Griffith, and sleeping with a friend.
Doreen, or one of Doreen.
Yeah. Hey, Doreen.
Hey, Doreen.
Can you
Not
give
what
us
it
a
looks like.
synopsis? Give us a synopsis of the film. Just what?
Okay,
What?
here's a woman, New Jersey, and she speaks like with that New Jersey accent, and you know, but
It came and went, but yeah.
It came and went, and then she learned to try to, you know, change it. But here she is, you know, just a secretary. Back in those days, they just had secretaries; they didn't have assistants. But they, she just did all the, you know, the hard work to a company in So she wanted to, in trading. And so she sort of like got in with her boss to, she had great ideas, but she wasn't, polished. She didn't go to the best college. She went to night school or, mail away college and everything. So she did get her series 7 or whatever that is to her. I don't think they called it that, but was in business. And then she put together this deal, and Harrison Ford was Sigourney Weaver's.
Sigourney Weaver plays a boss at a major bank in Manhattan. In Manhattan, right?
Mergers and acquisitions.
Right. So Sigourney Weaver, Melanie Griffith becomes her secretary.
Yes. And now she assumes that she's running the show.
Well, because Melanie Griffith goes on a vacation and breaks her leg and has to be away. Sigourney Weaver.
Right.
Yeah. And her boyfriend was going to go and break up with her.
Right.
But then he meets her, Melanie
pretending to be a highfalutin Wall Street person.
Highfalutin, yeah. And then she even has the the changes her voice. She practices it.
Which is funny.
To get some class. And
gets rid of the tall hair.
The tall hair. Love the tall hair. And Joan
Cusack
played
she
her
is
very
phenomenal.
best friend.
Biggest hair ever.
Yeah.
Just is so adorable as that best friend in the high hair, and they both have that high hair, and they look like poodles. It's just it really is so cute, and because that was what was in style at that time. Geez. So it just her fight to do something, get the man, and
be taken seriously,
and to be taken seriously. Right. And she has a very small opinion of her. I think she's very humble, and she approaches her job as like with humility. And you don't see that very often. You see everybody, I can do, I'm a woman, I can do, okay, yeah. Well, that goes without saying, men don't do that. I'm a man, I'm strong. You don't see that. You don't see that in men, It's like, that's
what I do every day on my Zoom calls for work.
Brad,
I'm going to do what I say because I'm a man. I'm strong.
Yeah, right.
If I see that on Facebook one more time from a woman, a woman says something, and like 50 people say, "You're strong. You're strong.
You're so strong." Oh.
I'm like, did they change?
I'm gonna hate to deconstruct this movie for you, but I'm gonna have to at some point and break down the actual what's actually going on in this film.
Not okay. No, she learns to, to respect herself and to, give herself some credit. Just okayness. And then she gets into a nice office at the corner, and she's got an assistant. And it's really good, and
it has one of the saddest ending scenes in movie history.
And what is that, Ralph?
What do they do at the end of that film?
They pull back from the building, tiny little window, and you come back, and it's like, oh, this is what she was fighting for, to be this tiny little insignificant person in New York City.
Wow, man, you brought me down.
That's how I look at that. Now, how she got there, all the things she did to get there, to fight for this tiny little
positivity moment.
You got to remember, this is 1988. 1988.
Nobody's going to be the queen and the king. I mean, we don't have that here.
But she's in you saw the office. She was like a closet when you really break it down.
The way she played that might as well have been a gigantic corner office on the top floor.
Okay.
That's the way she played it.
Okay. Maybe it's
so
the Matrix
proud of
thing.
what she was able to do.
She was so happy to be in that little office. Listen, I like the film, but looking back at it with 2021 eyes, you go, oh my God. Alec Baldwin was a baby. Oh my God. He was so young.
And he was
furry.
playing
And well, he's always furry. He's very hairy.
He's got that Austin Powers thing going.
The whole Wall Street, the obsession with Wall Street, because this came out in 88, Wall Street came out in 87. So everybody thought, Wall Street was the place. And Melanie Griffith this was like in her stage of Something Wild and all those great movies she was doing. She was an up and comer. She's great.
I'd say this was really the breakthrough role.
I think this,
Something Wild.
mainstream.
Something Wild was her breakthrough.
Well, more mainstream. Something Wild was still a bit cultish. This one was more mainstream. And Harrison Ford.
This is an A movie.
They really tried to play Harrison. They really, really, really try to push him as like a romantic lead. And that scene where he's in that scene where he takes his shirt off and all the ladies are clapping.
Yeah.
I thought that was very authentic.
That was very authentic.
I don't know. Listen, I like the film, but it's just my favorite scene is when Joan Cusack at the end, that whip pan they do when she goes, she made it, that scene at the end where that was my favorite scene. And Joan Cusack is she's a star. She was great in this film.
Playing the best friend since 1988.
Right.
Actually, even earlier.
Yeah. So anyway, I didn't mean to rain on your parade, but because part of me is that someone did a review way back when, 20 years ago about, look what this woman did. She struggled, and she's in that tiny office, and that ending shot is just showing you how insignificant people are.
I didn't see it that way.
Well, that's how I.
Wow,
that's how I.
Glass is half empty.
She fought
that insignificant if you look at it, right? So why are we doing this podcast? It doesn't matter.
She thought she was in a cubicle. She went
That's
from a
my
cubicle
point
to
exactly.
an office.
This is why Ralph on the podcast has the slightly bigger square. He makes the square a little bigger.
Well, Ralph, what were you describing right there about the insignificance of her, job and her position and everything? There's a word for that, and it's called nominos. Are you familiar with that word? Well, Greeks in the long days, ancient Greeks, they used to have an experience, and they would send their philosophers out at night, and they would look at the Milky Way. And when they would look at the Milky Way, there was a feeling that you would get, and that's called nominos, and that is the insignificance of each person. So that I see that, but there's nothing wrong with that experience. Nothing.
I think you just told me the new tattoo I'm going to get. I'm going to put that right.
There's nothing wrong with that experience.
Right. Wojo and Drew, come on, the two.
Put it on the Tobin.
Come on. There's got to be a little whiff of misogyny in this film. Has to be. Come on.
Well, of course there is. Well, of course there is. Oh, why? Because I think the topless vacuuming scene was definitely needed in this. That was such an important.
That was quite nice
part in here. Brad and I were counting
and high heels, by the way. High heels.
How many times are we going to see Melanie Griffith in her underwear? How many times is that going to happen? And
she said Ralph's going to talk. Sean.
And I said Sean's going to talk about that.
I didn't find in that scene that she did with Alec Baldwin in her room, where he gives her that underwear, whatever. It wasn't very sexy cool at all. I didn't find that. Now the vacuuming with the high heels, that's pretty sexy. Yeah, but
you should see me doing that.
But the character, Harrison's Ford character. No. He wasn't. You don't take him as a misogynist, right?
Who?
Harrison Ford's character.
Jack Trainer.
Jack Trainer.
No, I don't think so, because he was willing to do.
Are you saying people watching it like
Oliver Platt in the beginning? Yeah. He and that other guy, they were definitely misogynist characters when they fixed her up with Kevin Spacey.
Oh, right.
Geez, let's just set her up like she's a prostitute or something.
What amazing casting. Who would have thought to get Kevin Spacey as a sex harasser? Who would have thought?
Again, Wall Street does the same thing with the Wall Street, all the brokers down there. It's very,
Did you ever see the movie Boiler Room?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just disgusting.
Well, that's not this movie. This movie is not.
No, look, this is a princess finding the prince movie, right, Debbie? This is what this is about.
This is not. That's a side. That's how some people are in that time frame. In the 80s, there was like that. There's always been that element,
Big hair and misogyny.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
I don't think it defines the movie, but there's definitely.
I don't think it defines the movie either. And I don't think it's a bad movie.
All right, John and Drew, I got it. John, Drew, one of you jump in.
Well, I want Drew to connect it to 2021, so I want to hear what Drew has to say.
Yeah.
Well, I had an interesting double feature last night. I don't know if you guys know, and just as a little heads up, this has nothing to do with me being Jewish. So little change in the subject there. I watched 2 movies last night because I'm recording 2 shows tonight. This one and movie Strange. And so I watched Working Girl for this one, which I was 12 when it came out. I definitely didn't see it in the theater. I have seen it before. I don't remember. Maybe I saw it in high school because there were boobs or something. I don't remember really having any kind of like thoughtful reaction to it or anything. I think I saw Regarding Henry more times, and that wasn't so good either. But
bad movie.
Then I watched a movie called Teeth, which we're going to.
Ooh.
And Teeth is a movie about a young woman who discovers that she has teeth in her vagina. And vagina dentata is a long human tradition about the fear that men have of women and all that sort of stuff. But it was an unexpected resonance across the movies about the vulnerability of being a woman and the way that that men can behave to you, towards you. And I'm not interested in naming names or going into details, but this movie really triggered my wife with how awful women can treat each other in the workplace.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I won't name any names, but Sean knows exactly what I'm talking about and who I'm talking about. And to watch, I mean, Sigourney Weaver is such a weird choice for the villain because she's basically the villain because she's a woman that acts like a man.
Yeah.
And that's not really fair. Sigourney Weaver's I love her. She's a wonderful actress. This is a couple of years after Alien, and she got, I think, another Oscar nomination for this one. But
and it was after Ghostbusters too.
Right. And that was 84. So, she's on a roll, and this is a movie full of movie stars and stuff. But the whole thing of the movie was like, she wasn't a nice person. I'm not defending her character or her conduct or anything, but it just, I don't know if it was just that it was dated in that sense. It kind of reminded me of the movie. I don't know if you remember the Will Smith movie, The Pursuit of Happiness, about a guy who will do anything to achieve his dreams of succeeding in finance. True story. And the guy did it. At least Melanie Griffith's character didn't bring her kid with her. Like, The Pursuit of Happiness, I think, is reprehensible. Like, he's sleeping in a public bathroom with his son, who people are trying to break in, all that kind of stuff. Like, Melanie Griffith's character is very selfish and ambitious, and there's nothing innately wrong with that. But I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't hate it. It's very dated, which is part of why I guess I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. And it's got a lot of people in it that I like, and Mike Nichols is an interesting filmmaker, but it's one of those movies that I wouldn't say it hasn't aged well, because I think it's still really, really accurate to the way that women can be treated in the workplace. The way Mad Men. With that. Yeah, and the Mad Men was the same, and that was 30 years before that. So you know how things don't change.
Well, did you like Mad Men, Drew?
I couldn't watch it because I was working in advertising at the time, and it honestly felt like going to work. But I hear good things, and I like the people in it, John Hamm and Christina Hendricks and all that stuff. But
really good. I'm curious, why do you say that Melanie Griffith's character is selfish in this?
That's not a criticism. She is selfish. She's ambitious, and she wants to succeed in business. And the only way that she can succeed in business in this movie is to either act like a man, like her boss, or to be deceptive. And that's not me saying it. That's the way that the movie goes. So that's why it's more like a fairy tale finding a prince. Like, the whole thing she's doing is not right, but who cares, because it's a good deal. And
she's a good person. You're rooting for her. You're rooting for her because she's a good person. But yeah, she's lying through the whole thing. I'm not even rooting against her. Like, I can look at her in the movie and I can say, well, her boyfriend is an asshole. And, the fact that she even contemplated getting back together with him, I would have been more disappointed in her. But I didn't find anybody in the movie that I really wanted to root for. And we all know, Harrison Ford explains how he got the scar on his chin. And we all know that he got that when he was River Phoenix in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade in the next year. So that I didn't need that. But it's one of those movies it was interesting to go back to, but I didn't care for it.
Well, it's interesting you bring up, you talk about the, her, almost staying with Alec Baldwin, when she couldn't make a decision not to, and I thought that was a little out of character for her, honestly, because she's this ambitious woman who's trying to get ahead and doing all this, but then she falls back and she won't leave a guy who she walked in sleeping with somebody
well,
else.
I think that's because
I don't know. I thought that was a little strange, honestly.
Well, I think it's because
even had to contemplate that.
Well, that's right after she got found out and things are bad. So she's like, she reached for the brass ring. She didn't get it.
So I have to go back to
and
everything.
then she felt like I don't have any place else to go. And then the fairy tale ending is that, she shows up to get her stuff from her desk and it turns into a whole save the deal, blah, blah, blah kind of thing. So,
and he says, "This is your man."
Right.
Harrison Ford says, "This is your man." John.
Wow. I really enjoyed this movie, and I look at this as a 40s or 1950s romantic comedy. You stick Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn in the same roles, and I think the movie's just as good. I don't think I got as deep as you guys did. I enjoy this movie for a lot of reasons. One, Melanie Griffith is excellent in it. I was shocked that she's number 3 on the credits. Harrison Ford was first.
I was gonna,
Weaver, and then Melanie
top billing, but they didn't give her top billing very often.
I was very shocked at that. And
Harrison Ford got top billing, then Sigourney
right,
Weaver,
because he was at his height too. But
but still,
I loved Harrison Ford in this because it was kind of the first kind of goofy thing he ever did as a leading man. Very out of character for his other stuff. He wasn't like a superhero, he wasn't like the stud. He was kind of goofy. And like, I'll give you one example. There's one scene where they're having lunch and he had a little dot of mayonnaise on his mouth the whole time they're talking. Right. To me, that made him.
And it never went anywhere. I just thought she was going to point it out. It never went anywhere.
It was a very endearing thing. And Sigourney Weaver, she was a villain because she was a bad person, right? Because she stole that idea. And I think there's a little misread. Tess wanted to do everything the right way. She realized that there were barriers because she was an executive assistant, because she was a woman. So it was going to be much tougher for her. Then she meets Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney Weaver gives the advice. You got to take it. You got to go after it, right? All that advice. And she's doing everything the right way. Then Sigourney Weaver steals the idea from her. That's when everything changed. And she took Sigourney Weaver's advice and did what she needed to do and came up with a great idea. But the one
two wrongs make a right is the lesson of the movie?
I think
no, it was her idea, her initial idea to merge.
Exactly. I will say the one thing that really stuck out for me that every time they showed the Twin Towers, it kind of was gut punch for me. But I really enjoyed this movie for what it was. All the Wall Street stuff and the business dealings was on the side. It was a love story. That's what it was. It was a love story between Harrison Ford and Melanie Griffith. And at the end, Ralph, I didn't read what you read at all. She thought she was in a cubicle. She thought she had to get this woman coffee. She realized she's the one in charge. She puts her feet up on the desk. She calls her friend to brag about it. She made it. This is the first step to making it. So I didn't see it that way at all. And especially the way she played it.
It's all of us going for the brass
this
ring.
woman was a secretary or executive
I got it. I understand.
The look on her face of realization when she realized that this person's working for me, not the other way around, was played.
Now I gotta tell you though, I understand why that worked movie wise, because it's in a movie. But I thought, come on, you don't get a job and you don't even know what you're doing.
Right.
You just show up. Oh,
the boss told her she said you're starting at the. You're okay starting at the bottom.
You're starting at the bottom. You're gonna have to work your way up, and that was the bottom.
But they wouldn't have discussed what her position was. I know, Michelle. You have to,
No, I mean, I get it, but that's
suspend disbelief, Michelle. That's
suspend
disbelief.
And I thought their chemistry was excellent. Harrison Ford.
No, listen, their chemistry was great. Melanie Griffith is gorgeous. Fantastic.
That's Tippi Hedren's daughter, by the way. Tippi Hedren from The Birds.
And I loved her in Something Wild and this one. Now, I'll admit this. As soon as I turned the movie on, I heard Carly Simon's song. Holy crap. That song got me right back into, that mode. That song is amazing. The song.
Yeah.
I don't know if she won an Oscar for that or not.
Yeah, she did.
She did win. I didn't know if she won.
That song.
Yeah, she won.
Because I put the trailer in first, and that song comes on. I'm like, oh my god! I remember now. It put me right
the
back.
soundtrack. The soundtrack was excellent.
Yeah.
Soundtrack was really good.
I saw this film. It may surprise you. I saw it in the movies.
No, really?
You say that every time. We're not surprised anymore.
I saw it in the movie
that.
theater. I saw it.
No one's surprised.
I did too.
Three viewers.
1988. We all went to the movies.
Yeah.
Everybody went to the movies.
So I liked it. I wouldn't say it was hugely impactful. I enjoyed it. When Debbie picked it, I must admit, I kind of looked at the prospect with dread because somehow I thought it wasn't going to age, and I wasn't going.
That was a great face, Debbie. That was a great look you just gave him. You just gave him the best look. In fact, I think when Ralph edits this, he should zoom in to your face. That was great.
Everybody's a director. Jeez.
Michelle, give me the look. Repeat it for me. You're gonna have to say something as you.
I know that looked well.
So wait, Sean, you were in the middle of a thought. What?
Okay, sorry, but I'll tell you what. I really enjoyed this movie much more than I expected, and what I really loved is the cast. I loved, Oliver Platt, Kevin Spacey. Man, I'm like, man, they nailed him. Whoever cast this movie got it right.
Well, Spacey was a last minute replacement. He only had that morning to learn the script. Someone else was
supposed
cast.
to play that role.
I don't remember. I read it, but I can't remember who it was. So he
used sense. He used his sense experiences to play that role. Like he goes, but this will be acting because I'm going to be doing this with a girl.
Yeah.
But other than that, and I mean, like David Duchovny. Ricky
I was going to say,
Lane.
if you blinked, you missed David Duchovny.
We went back and looked after we saw the cast. We said, "Oh, we got to find the bridesmaids."
Yeah,
he was like friend at birthday party. Or
yeah,
something.
that's right.
And the person who skipped by me that surprised me most, because it is a Mike Nichols film, was Suzanne Shepherd, who played the receptionist. And if you don't know who she is, she's more famous for playing the mother-in-law in Goodfellas. But the thing is, aside from being like an actress who's worked hundreds of times,
Olivia Dukakis has a tiny role in this.
Yeah.
She's having.
There's something behind you.
Oh my God, there's a monkey.
No. But,
a monkey. The cat, Ralph, in the window.
But I always have to wait a minute. I always have to make it about me. But this is interesting.
No, really?
I helped make a documentary about Suzanne Shepherd because aside from being an actress, she's one of the most respected acting coaches and teachers in New York. And Debbie and I were supposed to go up Mike Nichols, one thing, at the premiere of this film about Suzanne Shepherd. And Debbie had bought a new dress. We're in Baltimore. I had a meeting down in Washington to work on an FBI project. I was told it was just a meet and greet. So we were going to race up to New York. And they put me in the skiff, if you know what that is down there. It's a secure area where you have no communications. And they kept me there all day. And Debbie is getting furious.
I was so pissed off because this FBI agent, she just wanted to make sure everybody knew where she was coming from. She spent all this, like hours and hours and hours.
I'm like, Mike Nichols,
we gotta meet. We gotta go meet somebody.
Mike Nichols.
We are prepared to go to New York City.
She brought a dress.
I bought a brand new dress.
So we did, and then we didn't see Mike Nichols, and he was dead like 3 months later. I'm like, can't we have another screen? So that's my Mike Nichols story.
Mike Nichols.
Well, here's the Academy Award information on the back of the Laserdisc. Laserdisc. Nominated Best Picture. Nominated Melanie Griffith, Best Actress. Nominated Sigourney Weaver, Best Actress. Nominated Joan Cusack, Best Supporting Actress.
Wait, Sigourney Weaver's nominated for Best Actress?
Yep. Nominated Mike Nichols. Mike Nichols, Best Director. Winner, Best Original Song, Let the River Run by Carly Simon.
Now,
that's the only one that won.
Yep. The song.
The song.
Now, Mike Nichols, I don't know if everyone here follows his career, but you want to talk about a guy who's brilliant at times, and then it's like makes some really odd, crappy movies. It's Mike Nichols. I mean, to me, a film I saw in the theaters quite a few times in the early 70s was Day of the Dolphin. Has anyone here?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Now,
George C. Scott.
love Pa.
Yeah. Now that is a movie that you would think is a.
Oh my
low-budget
God! I saw that
science
on
fiction
TV or
George
something.
C. Scott.
Day of the Dolphin.
But that wasn't a movie.
Yeah.
It had Mike Nichols, like hot off of like all these great films. It had a script by what's his name? The guy who's
That guy.
That guy.
Okay, toothbrush.
He's short guy, tall guy,
Short guy, tall.
brown
he's
blonde hair.
been on Saturday
Blonde
Night
hair,
Live,
red
a lot,
hair.
comic
Oh, the
writer.
same
The
guy
one
who
with
did the
the
poetry.
And George C. Scott. I mean, that was an A picture. And then he followed that up
George Papard.
with The Fortune.
It was George Papard, wasn't it?
Jack
Are we
Nicholson.
just going to yell out names
Was it
now?
Jack Nicholson?
That's
in
what
The
we did
Fortune?
in the last episode. So
And then he did The Fortune with Jack Nicholson. And then he, like near the end of his career, he did that Gary Shandling movie where he's an alien looking.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Many people considered the worst, the worst financial loss.
Yeah, that was not good.
I mean,
All
but
right,
he,
enough of your stories with people you wanted to meet.
Hey, by the
All
way,
right,
Working
Debbie,
Girl, they made a TV series out of Working Girls starring Sandra Bullock in the
Oh,
Melanie
right.
Griffith role. I watched the pilot just after I watched the movie. Oh, it was so bad.
Really?
So
I think
no
it lasted
vacuuming?
3 episodes. It was
That's available on
vacuuming?
YouTube. Debbie, why
Yeah.
why'd you pick this film? What's the reason behind picking this film?
I remember seeing it in the 80s, and then I really liked it. I liked the sex scene in it, the hot scene, and I won't say sex scene. Hot scene.
Which one? Alec Baldwin?
No,
That was a
was-
good sex scene.
That was great. It's not what it looked like. Well, it is what it looks like, but
when you first meet somebody
yeah.
No.
in life, you know what I mean? And you've got that certain something going on.
The
That-
earth moved. The angels wept.
Yeah.
I've got the
Well, then I
Polaroids
watched
somewhere
Teeth.
in my check. I love their chemistry,
And
Deb.
that's
I thought their
our
chemistry was great.
show,
But
Debbie, I'm sorry. I kind of pooped on it a little bit. I pooped on because I still find that last scene, and I have to admit, I
Oh
read
my
it somewhere. I read it
God.
somewhere. No, it's like you're struggling, and you're happy because you're stuck in this
But you
giant
know what,
building.
But you
and
know what? How many movies pan out at the end and show the people this big?
all
You
the
could
bad
look at it
ones.
from the exact opposite perspective too, and say she got this big office where it's this beautiful scene, and you pan out, it's this huge building.
I know,
She got to the
I
top
know.
of this big building.
I know
in
what
New York.
I know what the man is
From
trying to
being-
tell you. I
So-
understand. I understand.
Can I
Trying to
just
keep you in your position.
Good
I
job,
hate
Brad.
to be a dog that won't get rid of
Boy,
a
you're really speaking out a lot tonight.
It's good. I like it. Energized Brad is good. This is
Brad,
good.
I love that face. Let me see that face again.
Here we go. All right. So here's what we've decided. We're going to go three by two, unless we get an interview.
wait, hold on. There's one more thing to say about this movie that is so incredibly 80s, which is that Melanie Griffith is a real serious professional because she was out of her mind on booze and coke the whole shoot. You would never know it from her
Yeah.
performance.
I
You're
did.
kidding, really?
Yeah.
No, she was gone. And apparently the last the scene where Joan Cusack gets married, that scene we mentioned before, where it looks like she's
Right.
contemplating maybe returning to Alec Baldwin's character.
Right.
She was so drunk and so late that they had to reshoot it, and they couldn't move it because it was 3 days before Mike Nichols' wedding to Diane Sawyer. So they actually had to reschedule it for a few weeks later. I think a few weeks later, they deducted $75,000 from her
And they made
paycheck.
somebody follow her
Oh,
around
wow.
and keep her.
Yeah, they had to
sober.
give her a sober companion. And 3 weeks after this movie wrapped, she went into rehab.
Right.
So it does kind of tell you, and it's very 80s. I
Yeah,
mean, you
her
could
and Alec
get
Baldwin
a
were
lot
going
of cocaine
crazy,
and a
crazy.
lot of alcohol.
And the other
you would
way,
never
it's
know.
the 80s. It's the high cut bikini bottom in the closet scene. I don't know. The ladies can tell me what the high cut thing. Yeah, it's
Nothing says 80s like that. Yeah, you're right.
I'm just saying. When she's in the closet,
Which we
Alec
saw
Baldwin's looking
many
at her.
times.
Yeah, but I
bikini
just thought
bottom
it
is
was a
very high cut.
romantic comedy, and I really enjoyed it.
All right, that's good. All right, so we're like I said earlier before, we're going to do 3 by 2. So we'll do.
Spin the wheel, bitches.
There you go. We're going to spin the wheel. Thank you. Now, Debbie, as you notice, Debbie's not on this list because she. Just
Oh,
won.
look at
But
this.
she's still in our hearts.
How convenient.
You know what?
Convenient. I thought we weren't doing singles next time.
Now, we're doing 3 by 2. We're doing 2, then. So, yes,
This
we're
is
doing
the second
2.
of two.
Oh my God, let's go.
But aren't we supposed to spin the wheel all the time in terms of what category?
No, you keep doing that. No.
Brad, you're conflating.
He's being mean to you, Brad.
No, I'm not.
That's what we should do.
When it's the themed version, yes, we spin it. When I bring my own. And guess what? I hope you guys love the 70s because I'm digging one up.
Oh, shit.
So let's go.
Let me guess. Is it from 1971?
Doesn't matter. It's going to be sometime.
Get ready for misogyny and racism, baby.
It's going to be sometime in the 70s. All right. So there it is.
Make it Porky's. I know it's the 80s.
I'm picking it. I don't know.
Silent Running.
We'll be there. I'm
Running.
I'm not listening.
Driver.
Yeah. Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
I'm listening to nobody. All right. So we'll see everybody next week. Everybody have a safe week.
Ralph, aren't we doing Yippee-Ki-Yay, Yippee-Ki-Yay for the movie?
Oh,
No?
I forgot. We got to review
He just doesn't give a crap anymore. He just is thinking, how soon can I get this bullshit done so I can be by myself with Drew?
Well, it's fine. We don't have
We
to
have
do
some
it. That's
vacuuming
fine.
to
Talking
do.
about vagina
Let's go.
teeth.
That's fine. We don't have to do this, Ralph.
Wojo and Brad, what's your rating on this one?
Yippee-Ki, who gives a shit?
I'll give it yes.
I like that. Drew, what do you got?
Yippee-Ki-Yay.
Yippee-Ki-Yay.
John.
Yippee-Ki-Yay.
Sean and Debbie, of course.
Yippee-Ki-Yay.
Yeah,
Ralph?
I go Yippee-Ki-Yay. It's a good
Oh,
film.
there you
It's
go.
just
All right.
Oh my
Just
God, after you freaking
Nothing that depressing
us.
ending.
it's
She
got a
probably
horrible
jumped out the
ending. It
window.
makes me so sad. The ending makes me sad.
Once
But
she understood how small her office was, she probably jumped out of the window.
the Carly
You know
Simon
what?
scene
I mean,
was amazing.
instead of
The Carly
HBO
Simon song was
sponsoring us,
amazing.
we should be sponsored by the latest SSRI drug. Yippee-Ki-Yay Mother Podcast, starring Ralph Qua, however he says his name.
I'm
this
just saying,
week.
look at it again with those
Brought to
eyes
you
and tell me I'm
by
not wrong. Just tell me I'm not
Paxil,
wrong.
Prozac, Lexapro, anything you need. We
And
got
then
it here.
my favorite thing in the whole movie was Melanie Griffith vacuuming in her naked
Yeah, we know.
in her high
Yeah.
heels, and the song, Carly Simon song, I thought was fantastic. So
If only it played then.
all right, exactly. All right, guys, have a good week. I mean it sincerely. I can't wait till next week.
I can't wait.
Big one.
So looking forward to
It's
it.
gonna be
Give us
great.
the movie.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
I might. Nah, never mind. All right.
Roll
What? You might what?
Nothing.
What were you gonna say?
Nothing.
We've already done Slapshot.
Okay. We will talk next week. Okay.
We've already
Everybody
done
have a
that.
safe week. I mean it. And we'll talk next week. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Ah.